This is the third in a series of books which combine some interesting insights about doing global business and some impressions of the author's visits to all sorts of places around the world. The ostensible genesis of this book is a series of letters written first to Hemp Hill's father and then to his Aunt Janet as he was developing two businesses related to energy. But each of the chapters is chock full of great descriptions of the places he visits, some insights about the energy business and differences in business customs and basic research about the place. I am a fan of archaeological sites in part because of the complex and rich history and in part because the fascinating way that many of these primitive cultures did some pretty amazing things in architecture, astronomy and medicine. Hemp Hill shares that fascination. So for example in both the chapters on a visit to Guatemala and to Easter Island, we learn a lot about the history of the place and some of the unresolved issues of the sites. Often how and why did they do this? When I read the first two books I was disappointed in one aspect for both. At the end of the book there were no more chapters. I found that reading these, in the late afternoons on our sala in San Miguel de Allende, they should be enjoyed individually. This third set of essays is a great addition to the set. If you, like me, appreciate a travel memoir that can transport you to exotic places and teach you some interesting tidbits about different cultures, then I think you'd appreciate Goats Ate Our Wires as much as I did. It is a very unique take on your typical travelogue though. First and foremost, the author is traveling for business not pleasure and all of his tales are presented in the form of letters written to his father and aunt. I really like the author's sarcastic and irreverent voice that came out throughout his letter writing. It reads as if you are getting these stories through a close friend and that keeps it highly engaging. Another different aspect of this travel memoir is that you will inadvertently learn a few things about the solar power energy industry as you are reading. The author seems to have traveled a great deal while working for a company which builds solar energy infrastructure all over the world. And luckily, we get to benefit from his visits to locales that aren't on the typical vacationer's itinerary. My favorite place he describes here was Chile, particularly Easter Island. Goats Ate Our Wires, Stories of Travel for Business and Pleasure by R.F. Hemp Hill is a pleasure to read. It is a serious book, dealing with a serious topic, renewable, environmentally friendly sources of energy. It is written as a memoir, with page-turning stories about travel and business, told with much humor, in the form of letters home to his family members, his dad and later letters to his aunt. Click link in description for more reviews.